Carolina Panthers offseason continues, and we have more news coming out of the Carolinas, and there's been some additional shakeups on the coaching staff. And no, unfortunately, if you're like me and hoping that we'd hear more changes on the defensive side of the ball, at least at this point, that is not where the changes are happening. We have news today that Nathan Carroll, or Nate Carroll as he goes by, yes, son of Pete Carroll, is not going to be with the Carolina Panthers. Now, I don't know the terms. Like, was this his decision? Was it a mutual decision? Was it Dave Canales' decision? Is Pete Carroll going to land a head coaching job? And maybe that's why Nate Carroll is jumping ship right now. I don't know. I've seen some reports that Pete Carroll is not going to be in the front running for the Chicago Bears job. So we will see where the whole thing plays out. But needless to say, Nate Carroll was the passing game coordinator, and you have to feel like, again, of course, over the end of the season, that the Carolina Panthers passing offense was in pretty good shape. And remember, as a passing game coordinator, there's a few layers to this. Part of it is scouting the other team's defense to get an understanding of what concepts and play types are going to work. But also, as I kind of sit back, it feels like Dave Canales is likely doing a lot of this work, and that's not to take away from any particular coach on the staff, but maybe Dave Canales wants someone that he can feel a little more comfortable with running this coaching position heading into next season. Because you look around, he's talked very highly of Will Harriger, who's the quarterback's coach. Maybe Will Harriger steps into this role. TBD. We also know Dave Canales was very involved, of course, with the quarterbacks. Heard that on numerous occasions, the time that he was spending there. You also have Brad Idzik, who, of course, is the offensive coordinator, but we know that Dave Canales called the plays. Does he step into a more prominent role? Is he able to help shape this? Are the Panthers even going to backfill it? I would assume so. Most teams carry a run game and pass game coordinator on offense and defense to get teams prepared to go through. We will see, though. You also have, of course, sitting there potentially in the background, Jim Caldwell, who we know is really good offensive mind. So maybe he is part of the reason for some of the change. Either way, change again in Carolina. We will see if this role gets filled. Now, on top of this, something I did not cover earlier this week when it was reported that the head athletic trainer, which is Kevin King, and the health, performance, and nutrition director, Andrew Alth, say this right, Althoff, have been let go as well. And they've been with the team for years. I think 13, 14 years, a pretty big run. And now we go back and listen and watch to the player report cards that come out. And I know a lot, Panthers are lacking in some areas. There have been a lot of injuries on this team. And I mean, as you oversee the program, I don't know how much you can put on the training staff, but maybe some of it. I mean, he's your head athletic trainer. I don't know. And I'm not going to pretend to be one of those people that sit here and tell you absolutely he's the reason all these guys got hurt. His program is poor. It's terrible. And if anyone else out there is telling you, unless they are associated directly with the team and know exactly what is implemented, don't believe them, folks. Do not. Sure, they're going to give you the generic, oh, yeah, the trainers had to go. They had to go. Look at all the injuries we had. No, I'm not one of those that feeds into the BS of unknowns that we just don't know. So you're going to get the honest truth from me and my opinion on the situation. So I can only evaluate what I know. Anyways, a shakeup. So we'll see. Changes continue to happen. Remember, it's going to be pretty busy here in the Carolinas as they try to ramp up and start the project for the practice facility renovations that are going to happen. I'm guessing they're going to have to lay the groundwork to start preparing for the stadium renovations. I know there's going to be a lot of moving parts and changes here in the Carolinas to make it a better facility. Is it ever going to be anything close to what we expected in Rock Hill? Absolutely not. But you do want to improve it. And I got to tell you, we went to training camp. It was only for a day. It was fantastic with the setup. So I can only imagine when they get the permanent facility, the indoor practice, and then they renovate parts of the stadium that, should be a pretty nice place. And hopefully we can attract players, especially if you are winning football games. So that's the latest and greatest news that we have today. It's going to be slow, folks. It's that time of year where, well, at this point, we talk about potential free agents and who we think the Panthers should draft, or we spend our time looking at mock drafts and creating thousands of mock drafts, not really to post, but that's where we're at. So we'll continue to keep you updated. I know there's a lot of coaching carousels happening in the NFL right now as jobs get filled up in place. So, anyways, folks, that's going to do it for today's episode. This is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good